Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Geopolitik with Ibrahim Malik. My name is Ibrahim Sajid Malik, and today we are analyzing a crucial topic for Pakistan's future. How Trump's return to the White House and his America First policy could actually benefit Pakistan. I know it's kind of a contrarian view, but let's give me a chance to walk you through it, right? I One of the key points that I would request that you think about is that, look, America's first policy pushes or reduces US's dependence on India as an outsourced destination. That is one of my first premise that I want to have this conversation. First of all, let's look at the historical context, okay? Trump's first term, we saw several key developments that set the stage for what we are going to see in this, or we might see in the Trump 2.0. For example, in 2018, you may recall that Trump suspended $2 billion in security aid to Pakistan, demanding more action against terrorist groups, right? However, by 2019, Trump started praising Pakistan's cooperation. I quote him, he said, "We are working with Pakistan and others to extricate ourselves from Afghanistan." Okay. Again, in 2020, Trump kind of mediated between Pakistan and India during the heightened tensions, right? And it showed willingness to engage directly in South Asian affairs, something that none of the other previous presidents had ever dared do, right? So that's one of the things that we want to keep in mind as we think about Trump 2.0, right? Now, Trump's America First approach is fundamentally different from traditional US foreign policy in several ways, right? And it could potentially benefit Pakistan. So how could it, right? So as we know, President Trump is a businessman, right? Whether you agree that he's a successful businessman or a failed businessman, that's totally your call. Uh, but he is a businessman. He's very transactional as well, right? So we know that he's very transactional. He's looking for short-term goals. He is very success-driven. He's matrix-driven, right? So Trump's international relations would be run through a business lens as well. You have seen it in the first 2 weeks with the tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, and then suspending those tariffs for 30 days. So it's a businessman, or let's put it this way, a powerful businessman's negotiation strategies, right? Now, Pakistan has always been a strategic location. Our military capabilities have been great assets for America, and that's no secret, right? I mean, some would argue that Pakistan ought not to be that friendly with America. I am not in that camp, by the way, right? So I'm gonna take you back to Trump's praise of Pakistan's role in Afghanistan and peace talks, right? Demonstrated his appreciation for practical cooperation. So if Pakistan's establishment, both military and democratic establishment, can ensure that whatever we're doing would actually have some benefit for America as well, right? We have to find win-win deals with America now. We can't just go in and ask for something because we feel entitled for it, because we're not entitled, right? So every time you engage Trump or you engage somebody in America, you've got to figure out what is in it for them, right? What have you done for me lately, right? That's the value that they would work with. Now, Trump has always been skeptical of his traditional allies, right? I mean, we saw what he did with Canada just recently. We know his stance on European Union, right? In past, Trump has questioned India's tariff practices, right? In 2018, he called India a tariff king, right? He criticized Indian Prime Minister Modi's leadership style multiple times, right? These positions contrast sharply with Biden's strong pro-India stance. Although, it appears that Trump is a very buddy, very close, very intimate with Modi, but Trump is interested in his own interest and America's interest, right? That's why it is America first. And since Trump is not bound by any kind of a traditional diplomatic history, he can actually, look at India and say, "Hey, look, is this a profitable business for me? Is this a relationship where I'm reaping value, or is it a one-way street, right?" So let's think about, H-1B visas. So Trump's H-1B visa restrictions that will severely impact Indian IT services. Okay. So in 2019, 66% of the H-1B visas granted across, all over the world, 66% of that went to India. Okay. Now, we know that Elon Musk and some of the other tech leaders do not want to disrupt H-1B. But Trump has come to power talking about deporting immigrants, talking about cutting down H-1B visas, talking about, hey, they are coming here and taking your jobs, right? If Trump wants to reduce H-1B quotas for India going forward, that is going to start impacting Indian technology firms' revenue opportunities as well. Think about it. If I have three people sitting working as in a any capacity, database administrator, programmer, whatever, network admin, at JP Morgan Chase in New York, the chances are that those three would become six is much higher because those three are your Trojan horse, right? They're finding information from you. So that is how organizations grow inside big corporations, right? So reducing H-1B visa is going to definitely impact India. So how could Pakistan position itself, right? I mean, look, we have remote work arrangements in Pakistan. Granted, our internet connectivity is still not as stable as it ought to be. To be a destination of choice for nomad workers, right? But Pakistan has lower operational cost. There's a large English-speaking workforce, and we have a very decent and a growing tech infrastructure, right? Now, from a manufacturing perspective, right, Trump's push for supply chain diversification away from India, that could also help Pakistan. So average manufacturing wages 30% lower than India. So this is Pakistan's labor cost is almost 30%, especially in the manufacturing, right? We are near Middle East and China. Of course, that's a great location. We have an existing manufacturing infrastructure that could be utilized, right? And the special economic zones under CPAC, right? So think about all of those things that are going in Pakistan's favor. Now, Trump's skepticism of India's regional dominance could potentially provide us some kind of a regional balance, right? Potential for increased military cooperation, right? So, for example, again, I'm going to repeat it. In 2019, Trump offered to mediate Kashmir dispute, right? He wants to he wants to roll up his sleeve and sit down and resolve that issue as well, right? But that would require cooperation not only at the civil society or manufacturing or business, but also we need to have look at the possibility of renewing military cooperation, right? Counter-terrorism cooperation opportunities. We need to figure out, hey, are we going to be buying his stuff from Trump? Can we show that hey, we're going to be buying our military assets from you and over the next 10 years, and it's going to be $100 billion, whatever that number is. He usually likes to look at big numbers. So Pakistan should definitely, whenever they're talking to Trump administration, don't think about just a one transaction. Look at a compound value over 5 to 10 years, right? But for all of this to happen, right, there are some key action items that Pakistan must need to take, right? So number one, strengthen tech education and infrastructure. Pakistan still needs work on their infrastructure, right? Both from a power supply perspective as well as the internet. We have some good universities in Pakistan, a handful of them, and then we have a mushroom of subpar educational institutions that teach students BS in computer science. But unfortunately, when people like me interview them to try to hire them, they cannot fulfill this very, very entry level requirements in technology. Okay. Uh, we have to enhance our business regulations, right? So what could be done to make Pakistan a favorable destination for American investors? What can we do? Uh, then, of course, we have to, and this, of course, our established military establishment should work really closely and enhance our counterterrorism measures. And we have to develop a very clear value proposition for US. So we have to have a sales pitch that doesn't last more than 1 minute and tells America what are some of the value that they will get, both quantifiable and qualitative, right? Of course, quantitative values would hit him, would resonate a lot better, right? So the potential, I mean, the return of Trump to White House presents a unique opportunity for Pakistan. All right. While challenges remain, his America First policy could help Pakistan reduce its dependency on India and establish its stronger direct ties with the United States. Okay. So remember to like, share, and subscribe to Geopolitics for more analysis. And I will be talking to you about not only politics, but about technology, about opportunities for Pakistani businesses to collaborate with American businesses, and also for Pakistani academia and training institutes on what are some of the technology needs, what are some of the workforce requirements that America today has that Pakistani institutions can help to fill.